I don't know. It's just always interesting when people take kind of these hard stances. I mean, to me, it sounded like Jordan Peterson doesn't like fat people. I mean, that's kind of what it sounded like. Right, now, if you look at this girl and you start to look at other images of her, her arms, her face, her boobs, her butt, everything looks really fucking good.
It's like right here, she's holding a bit of body fat in extra places, but like you mentioned yesterday, it's all the right places.
Yeah, right.
This non-athletic body is as beautiful as the standard swimsuit model. It's not as athletic, and it's not as healthy.
It's not healthy? Not healthy compared to what?
And then the not beautiful thing is also something that I'm just like, okay, I love Jordan Peterson. I have his books.
I'm a huge fan.
I listen to a lot of his stuff. I love what he talks about. But sometimes, like, I think certain takes are just kind of weird.
Homegirl wasn't the first one that was a, quote, full figure model or whatever you want, whatever's politically correct. But Ashley Graham, it was it's insane.
Again, everyone's welcome to think.
Speechless. My heart is racing right now.
Oh my God.
You know how back in the day, like the criminal or the robber would be like the black guy, but now you see the white guy, that's a thief. Kind of a joke.
Thought of it as like it's like a affirmative reaction. They're like, oh fuck. Like we gotta do it.
Affirmative reaction.
Notice the arms cover the slightly bigger belly than what we were used to in a swimsuit model. Okay, something I want you guys to pay attention to. You see how the arm placement, what these do is they make the midsection look even smaller. I guarantee you they took thousands of pictures of her that looked way better than this. Hand placement. So remember on the last one where the arms were way out?
Yeah.
So this now makes her hips go from right here all the way to over here past her elbow. But I think they were going for an image that's going to emphasize like, hey, she's a full figure model. Look at us.
But I don't know if this is an inappropriate time to bring this up, but I did sit on a black guy in a movie theater one time. He went,
Wait, was he like wearing all black too? Or
and he was very dark. I saw him after the show. He's like, it happened before. He's like, he goes, I'm Jamaican.
PowerProject family, how's it going? And listen up. We talk about meat and nutrition all the time on this podcast, from the carnivore diet, keto, low carb, IFYM. And the cool thing is that we've partnered with a great company, Piedmontese beef. Yes, it's beef. And the great thing about Piedmontese beef is this: no matter if you're someone who's dieting on low fats, high fats, carnivore, any diet, they have different types of cuts of steak that are going to fit your diet perfectly. From the flat iron that has, Andrew, what is the macros on that thing?
So that one has 46 grams of protein and only 4 grams of fat for the entire steak.
And if you want fattier cuts, they have ribeyes, center cuts. They have literally everything for no matter what diet you do. So you can't use the excuse of your diet and tell yourself that you can't eat red meat. So Andrew, how can they get Piedmontese beef?
Yes, man. So that's at Piedmontese.com. That's Piedmontese.com. At checkout, enter promo code POWER for 25% off your entire order. And if your order is $150 or more, you get free 2-day shipping. Again, Piedmontese.com, promo code POWER. All links down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes.
What?
Shimmy, y'all, shimmy. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, we're rolling, guys.
Mixing up some mind bolt over here.
I'm going to have some capsules on this end.
Down the old hatch.
I've been just missing shots.
Let's see. Come on.
Backboard. Oh, yeah. Bitch!
Ooh. It was.
That was a really dead shot.
Honestly, if you're just a little bit closer, it would have banked right in. You were a little bit high.
Yeah, that was bad.
I heard Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer talking about Kratom. And they were talking about like maybe like it being an alternative for Bert instead of drinking. I was like, that's not a bad idea. I do it sometimes instead of drinking, but I don't
drink.
I don't love alcohol.
Yeah.
I do like to drink, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I love, like, my wife and I sometimes we'll just have like a random glass of wine, like during the week. We'll just be like, let's just sit down and have a glass of wine. And we just sit down and we go into, we just sit with no TV on or anything like that and just kind of chill. And it's fucking awesome. But like, I'm also not, I don't really love the taste of alcohol necessarily. And I never really fell into alcohol. You know, I know some people, they have gotten into a pattern where they were maybe drinking multiple days in a row. And luckily I've never fell into that.
Alcohol's a rough one. Like even when I think about, okay, it's not good to be necessarily addicted to anything, but people who are alcoholics to an extent, right? They drink an insane amount of alcohol and they get belligerently drunk and it affects their life, versus people who take Kratom too much. Because I know some people take Kratom too much.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what would be the lesser of two evils? I would assume it would be Kratom. Like I don't, luckily, I'm not one of those people who feels the need for it, but when I take it puts me in a good mood. I feel happy. I feel empathetic, right? And it doesn't affect me cognitively, in which case I can't have a conversation or I can't do things with people. It just puts me in a better mood. Alcohol would put me in a good mood too. I get super laughy. Y'all seen it. You know, we've
naked maybe.
But I guess it's not ideal. It's not nearly as good. So
I would say
interesting.
I would say also too, you know, if something causes a problem in other areas of your life, you know, do you miss, like, is your fitness, is your overall health suffering because of said addiction? Do you miss work? Are you late for work? Is it negatively impacting relationships and those kinds of things? And that's where I would say, look, you know, you'd have to go way out of your way. In my opinion, you'd have to go way out of your way with Kratom to do that, to take so much Kratom that it would disrupt your life. Like, that's a lot. That's very, very excessive amounts. And I'm not saying that there's nobody that could do that, because I've heard of people like taking straight like Kratom powder and they make shakes with it and stuff, and they get grams and grams of Kratom. And you know, that's definitely not the way that we use it. But it's just interesting. Like, I know some people that have traded out marijuana for, you know, alcohol. And it's like, it's not good to go around.
Marijuana for alcohol?
Yeah. So like, in place of drinking, they smoke pot, basically. Okay. And again, I you know, I don't know. We could argue like which one's better or worse, but if whatever it is you're hooked to, even if you went in the other direction and went from marijuana to alcohol, if you just did less of it and it was less invasive in your life, then I think you ended up with a small victory.
Still got to get you to, we got to have that episode.
Yeah.
We have to do that episode where you take your first hit and see how we
got to watch like some stupid movie or something too, right?
No, we have to have like a very serious conversation when you do it, and just see where your mind goes, because your mind is a very interesting mind in and of itself. You'll be fucking all over the place, but with weed, ooh, that's going to be fun. I can't wait.
And we can get some stuff for the munchies, maybe.
Yeah. Just get a whole lineup of processed Oreos, McDonald's.
Like, be a hell of a day.
And I want to see Andrew do it so he can see him see 3D pixels everywhere.
Oh, dude, no, it's not 3D. It's 2D. Everything turns 2D. If I get high, like, you guys turn into Paper Mario. Like, you just turn into straight billboards, like just moving around. It's
so
not so much
wild.
the sound. It's I don't know. Everything turns flat. It's fucking. I do not like it. And then my like frames per second goes down to like 4.
The time dilation thing is real. Like, time does like.
So we would be like Nsima and I would be like hopping over turtles and shit.
That would be fun.
Punching up on question marks.
No, man.
Trying to get those mushrooms.
Maybe mushrooms, but
that makes me actually really curious. For those of you in the audience who smoke weed here and there, what is your experience with it? How do you use it? For what reasons? And like what is your experience when you do it?
I just need it to get by.
It's got to take the edge off, man.
Oh my God. Okay.
Anyway, I was on a run with my wife this morning, and I got to say it, that bitch is a savage. She really is. You know, like, she doesn't ever run. She just recently started like messing around with some running. And I was like, oh, I'll go on a run with her today. And she's like, well, don't leave me in the dust and all this. And I'm like, no, I first of all, I don't even think I can leave you in the dust. But secondly, I need to just do more of a casual run anyway. I ran last night and stuff like that. And so I ran, I kind of jogged. It wasn't like I was running. I jogged. Yeah. But then about halfway through, I was like, oh, I'll do some like intervals, because I can do like an interval and then I can come back. And so I do these intervals, and I'm like, I'll just like run back to her. And I go to turn around, she's fucking right there. I'm like, you fucking crazy? What are you doing?
And she's not dying either.
And she's
this
not
is her
dying,
first time.
you know, and I do another one and she's still there, and I do another one and she's still there. She just kept coming like fucking Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th.
Well, she does swim fucking miles.
I know.
That's why I do wonder, like her, you know, also.
She said her legs, she'll feel her legs will get tired and her legs will get sore.
Like the quads or calves?
Yeah, I think quads and calves.
Quads and calves.
And then her back will get kind of tight from it. Just she's not used to it. But I think she could fucking run like a maniac probably in terms of her lung capacity.
Oh, easily. I also wonder, were you watching her breathing? How was she breathing naturally since
she
she's
was
a
breathing
swimmer?
pretty good. I didn't hear her breathing hardly at all until we started picking up the pace a little bit. Then I heard her breathing a little bit.
I've heard her say that like swimming doesn't translate very well in the gym, because like we would do, whether it be like sleds or something, and she'd be like, "Oh, that tells me is that swimming doesn't carry over for shit." But like for running, does it carry over?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think like cardiovascularly, I think it carries over big time. So I think if she lifted weights for a while or did like CrossFit style workouts, I think she would do pretty well with it. For her to be repeatedly explosive, that kind of stuff can be really hard for her. And she almost doesn't like know any better. So she can also hurt herself because she doesn't have, I mean, picture having no limitations with your lung capacity. You got zero limitation with your lung capacity. Like how hard could you go and hit the bags and stuff like that? You know, if you were punching the bags, you could just go nuts. But then you would be like, holy fuck, I made myself really sore. It's almost nice to have that limiter on yourself to where it's like, oh yeah, I can't breathe. Let me rest in between sets. And I know this firsthand experience. Probably the worst things I've ever done as like a trainer or coach is had people that weren't in shape not rest enough in between sets. It's a great way to annihilate somebody and make them very, very sore without them even recognizing it. If they're just not conditioned for it, they can get smoked by it.
And there's the other aspect with her being like a swimmer, having hypermobile ankles and potentially even wrists. What, like, you know, if your ankles are able to get in those positions to be able to actually have a really strong kick,
right?
Then when you're running and you don't want all of that crazy mobility when doing that, it's interesting. I mean,
you need to be a little more plyometric in the water. There's like, I don't know, maybe pushing off the wall. Maybe there's some plyometric thing going on there.
But kicking of the feet, you know, using your hip flexors and stuff, maybe. I don't know.
Dude, she talked a lot of trash on Eddie Hall. Not as bad as Nsima did, but she talked a lot of trash on Eddie Hall.
Oh, you mean in terms of the fight or his swimming technique?
His fighting.
Fighting.
But yeah, well, my wife was talking about him swimming.
Okay.
Saying you were talking about him fighting, but my wife's like, I got a lot of questions. She's like, when is this guy going to be around? I was like, I don't know. We got to have him around because it'd be great to have you swim against him. But she's like, the meters of the pool. She's like, that doesn't even make sense. Like they don't have pools that are that length. And she's like, handheld timers. She's like, nobody does that. Like you just don't do it in swimming. Like
Wait,
maybe you do it in like 40s. He posted maybe a couple weeks ago him doing a 50 or something, a 50 free, and he posted his time or whatever. I don't know. She thought it was bullshit. She's like, I can smoke that guy. I was like, that would.
Andy really is a savage, man.
I was like, that would be so interesting. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't think Eddie Hall wants to take that challenge on.
Have you tried swimming?
I've never tried.
Never?
So I cheated really bad and beat her one time, like doing like a half a lap in the pool, but like I literally just was on the other side of the pool and I was like, let's race. And she's like, what? Yeah.
So here's Eddie Hall swimming.
Hey, he's reaching pretty well though.
Yeah.
I mean, like for a guy his size.
Yeah, she said it was horrible. And also his like push off the wall. She just said like there's like this time is like bullshit in accordance to like the way that he pushed off the wall and stuff. She's like, there's just no way that he could get these. I don't know exactly what she's referring to because I don't know swim talk. But clearly, I mean, the main point of Eddie Hall posting something like that is that he's obviously very proficient at swimming. He's not just somebody that used to splash around in the water. You know?
Yeah, that was his sport. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what Eddie Hall looked like when he was leaner. You know, that's a very interesting thing because I only know Eddie Hall as being big. I don't know if we can find that, but yeah, in the water, I'm like a rock. I mean, it's not because I'm black. I know your mind went there once you chuck it. I'm like, it's because you're black. Like, no, I can somewhat float. In open water, I think I would die, which is why I wouldn't take that chance. But I mean, it's we're dense. I wonder what we do. I wonder how we do in the pool.
I know, like Ben Alderman was working on his swimming a couple years ago, and that guy's got a caboose on him too.
Oh yeah,
he's got a fucking butt, right? And he's got jacked fucking legs too. And it's just like he's swimming and he's like pulling halfway decent with the upper body, but the lower body's just like dragging under the water like a giant anchor.
Yeah.
And Andy's like, you're just not going to be able to go anywhere with that.
Damn, man.
That big old caboose back there is going to be fucking, even though the water doesn't help balance it out.
Yeah, it's just catching all the waves, making just wakes the whole lane.
Exactly.
There's one picture of Eddie Hall that I can't find, but he seriously looks like a cholo. It's fucking awesome. He's super lean.
Surprised.
He's got a buzzed haircut.
Cholo, what's that mean?
Here we go. Hold on. Well, this is him at 18. This is not the picture that I thought. But when I pull this up, you'll be like, oh yeah, that guy looks like he probably stole a couple of rims.
Oh yeah.
He looks like he stole a couple of rims.
That's great.
100%.
Oh goddamn, yeah.
100%. This guy had very high socks.
Yeah, Eddie does look like a cholo in this one, man. That's why.
But there's one where he has like this is supposedly him at 18.
Damn.
But there's one where he has like all the tattoos and stuff. I think he was like on a boat. I was like, what the fuck? He even had like big like saggy like jean or like jean shorts.
Yeah.
I was just like, dude, I think
He had some jorts going on.
Yeah, very Mexican. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
Well, Eddie has talked about like when we podcast with him, he talked about his youth.
Yeah.
Like he was up to some shit.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He was a hooligan, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of swimming, let's get to the swimsuit stuff. We were texting each other back and forth about some of this Sports Illustrated stuff. We saw Jordan Peterson voice his opinion, and I don't know, it's just always interesting when people take kind of these hard stances. I mean, to me, it sounded like Jordan Peterson doesn't like fat people. I mean, that's kind of what it sounded like. But first of all, I don't believe that the woman that was even on the cover of Sports Illustrated, does she maybe have extra body fat on her? I think like just about everybody could say, aside from people that are really pleased with their physique through maybe fitness, and maybe some people that have learned to control their food, most people are like, yeah, you know what? I got some extra body fat on me. Mm-hmm. And this woman has some extra body fat on her, but she still, to me, looks very attractive. She still looks very pretty. And when I see something like that, and then people are kind of have this uproar about like who it's supposed to represent and what it means and all this stuff, not that I'm saying that I want to see a huge person in a swimsuit, but I don't believe that this girl represents bigger women, bigger girls, obesity, the obesity epidemic.
Okay, so you're talking
States.
about like when you said like you're talking about like obesity, like being really out of shape.
It doesn't represent America. I mean, America is what, like 70% overweight, and it's like what now we're like, I don't know, 50% obese. I don't know if I'm off with those numbers, but it's pretty high from what I know. Now I don't.
Right,
now, if you look at this girl and you start to look at other images of her, her arms, her face, her boobs, her butt, like, everything looks really fucking good, I think.
She looks like a Street Fighter character right here.
She doesn't look
pull up other
excessively
photos.
overweight.
Yeah. I mean, okay, obviously, like pull up the photo right there in the swimsuit, the green one. Like she's okay, she's not in bodybuilding industry, fitness industry shape, or even old school bikini model shape. Because when you look at like old school bikini girls or bikini models, not fitness girls, but bikini models, and even models, number one, a lot of them are very skinny. A lot of them don't have any muscle. A lot of them aren't like athletic.
Right.
And these models talk about how they diet themselves down for doing these things where they starve themselves. So a lot of these models on a lot of these covers, have a lot of unhealthy practices. Like right here, she's holding a bit of body fat in extra places, but like you mentioned yesterday, it's all the right places.
Yeah, right.
And this isn't some people's type. Some people don't find her particularly attractive. Okay, some people do, and she's not bad looking.
It'd be interesting to know how she feels.
Yeah, I haven't seen her talk.
So the way that somebody feels is a big deal. Like that is a very attractive picture right there.
Yeah.
And to me, like I'm just thinking like that person probably feels pretty good about themselves.
You should.
Like when somebody enters a room and they like, there's different ways of wearing certain types of clothes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you wear something that's maybe revealing, and if you're kind of shy and like it's just not the same.
Yeah.
As if you're super confident in it. And this woman looks like she's very confident. I think that alone is very attractive.
And there's other aspects, dude. It's like, number one, there.
Look at that butt. Andrew.
I'm just scrolling through.
Andrew, settle down.
All I'm doing is pressing the button.
Yeah.
Like, yep. Oh, and bam.
Like,
it's not my fault.
This is an interesting thing because culturally, different cultures will have different types of body types as like an avatar of that culture, correct? Like, for example, I mean, black people, black men and black women, typically will tend to just gravitate towards having bigger butts. Like men too, you know, even without trying. What? when I got my DEXA scan done and she was looking at my body fat distribution, she's like, you hold your body fat like kind of like a woman. I'm like, or you mean a black person? Huh? Like, that's just how it be. And you'll see like different cultures. I mean, when they gain body fat or for some reason, a lot of Asian people within Asian cultures have really big calves. It's like there's different types of bodies, right? And the one body that like obviously we've been seeing in the United States has been, you know, a skinny body, kind of skinny in multiple areas. But as pop culture and hip hop culture has kind of gotten its way in, there's been a want towards the thicker body. So big boot, like it started with the big booty in the early 2000s, and then it was like big booty and big tits, and it's like now this super curvy person.
Right.
So it's like some people don't find it attractive, some people do, but there's varying levels of beauty, and that's okay.
And how do you have big boobs? You got to have some weight on you. You know, like, I mean, there are women that are gifted where it's like, holy shit, they have big old boobs and they're thin and they got other body fat in all the right places and muscle in all the right spots, right? These are talented ladies that are out there. Right? But most of the time, you know, if you're going to be big busted, then you have to have like some body weight on you in some other spots. Right?
Yeah, and what do you hear women say right away when they start to lose weight? They're just like, oh, the first thing that goes is my boobs. You know, that's what you always hear.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What I took exception to that Jordan Peterson said more than anything was, and I know maybe we can bring up the clip. Let's bring up the clip. But he was kind of saying like,
Instagram?
How she was unathletic.
Look at Michaela Peterson's page.
She was saying how she was unathletic, and I'm like, I know a lot of girls that look a little bit like this girl, and they would fucking wreck you, especially in like a workout or something. Like a lot of times these girls are strong. A lot of times they're explosive. Like to me, this girl looks like a former maybe volleyball player or something like that, or softball. I don't know.
Softball player will fuck you up.
And also, like the athletes look different athletes in different sports. When you look at very high level powerlifters, when you look at gymnasts, when you look at individuals who do wrestling or martial arts, there are different body types and different weight classes of these sports, and these people are able to perform. They don't look like just one type of human being or one type of athlete.
Right.
So the unathletic, let's just play it. It's very interesting.
Oh, sorry, not beautiful.
And then everyone got upset.
Yes, they did. They had a rather overweight young woman with a very revealing swimsuit on the cover. And I thought, no,
not
the cover
that revealing.
Bothered me a lot because it was a cheap manipulation of something that had been working very well for Sports Illustrated. It was also an insistence that all of a sudden this non-athletic body is as beautiful as the standard swimsuit model. It's not. It's not as athletic and it's not as healthy. And that's that. And then it's a lie that...
So that can be argued massively. It's not healthy? Not healthy compared to what? Not healthy compared to Heidi Klum? Not healthy compared to like a supermodel? Like, I don't know. It seems like being a supermodel isn't necessarily that healthy. A lot of the shape and a lot of the stuff that the women probably previously have done to do some of those shoots, it's probably not like they just... ate a bagel and some cream cheese and rolled into the shoot, and they probably prepared a lot for some of that, and probably many of them used unhealthy practices to get certain types of bodies because they were aware that they had a certain type of shoot. I'm not saying all of them, but that's just very arguable. You can argue that point from either side, whether that girl's athletic or unathletic in comparison to whom, in comparison to other girls that have been on the cover. Like, do the girls previously that are skinny, that don't have a butt, that don't have boobs, that may have been on the cover, that just look really attractive in a bikini or bathing suit, are they more athletic than this girl? It's like, I don't know. Are they healthier? Is she healthier? She doesn't look unhealthy. Does she look unhealthy or unathletic to either one of you guys in any way?
Again, unathletic. I don't know. Like, this is the thing. The unathletic thing is a very interesting point because when you, number one, on the cover of Sports Illustrated, there's not just one cover. We got to remember this.
Yeah.
This is the cover that a lot of people are talking about because she looks different from a lot of other women. But
they also put a 70-year-old person on the cover, which I think is Elon Musk's mother.
Yeah, Maya Musk.
Something years old.
They also had Ciara. Actually, right here, they had Kim Kardashian, who, I mean, we know has a fake butt. Ciara, Maya Musk, and Yumi Nu.
Who's Ciara?
Ciara's a
Click on it.
I had a big old crush on Ciara when I was younger, and even now, like, she is fucking.
So this one unfortunately gets overlooked, but it shouldn't. We should be examining this for the rest of the show.
You should, like, what?
Congratulations!
What other
Congratulations,
covers?
Russell Wilson. That's his wife.
What?
Yeah, that's Russell Wilson's wife.
I've seen her at a football game.
Yeah, and Ciara is like number one. She's a great dancer. She's a great. She actually is a great
amazing
artist.
Singer.
She can do super athletic things when she dances too. Like, actually, just her skill is amazing.
That song,
Andrew, click some of the other pictures.
But that
please.
song, Body Party. Whew.
I don't remember that.
Oh my god, I might play it.
I remember
now.
1 2 Step.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was the thing she came out
She
with.
looks incredible.
Body Party though. Oh my god.
Okay, but
well, okay. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, okay. But the on the athlete thing, when you look through other covers of Sports Illustrated from like years before, and even on years before, you'll see a lot of really skinny models, especially in the 1990s, early 2000s, just skinny women who have boobs and they look good. But do you think that they're athletic, or is it just that they look good?
Or are some of them just skinny with fake tits?
Or some of them just skinny with fake tits? But this is the thing.
This is going over the top, but I mean.
Yeah. It's like the unathletic thing's very odd. And then the not beautiful thing is also something that I'm just like, okay, I love Jordan Peterson. I have his books.
I'm a huge fan.
I listen to a lot of his stuff. I love what he talks about. But sometimes, like, I think certain takes are just kind of weird because not beautiful. Okay, you don't think something's beautiful, but I mean, come on, bro. We have multiple other covers. I think 1999 was the first time that we had a black woman, Tyra Banks, on the cover of Sports Illustrated. And that was wild because up until that point, there has never been a black woman on the cover of the Sports Illustrated Swimsuit edition.
Seems so ridiculous.
That's insane. And then also
1999.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Homegirl wasn't the first one that was a quote full figure model or whatever you want, whatever's politically correct. But Ashley Graham, I believe was. It's insane.
Again, everyone's welcome to think.
Speechless. My heart is racing right now.
Oh my god, she's so
everyone's
pretty.
welcome to think what they think is beautiful and what they don't like. That's taste. That's why the covers typically give you multiple options of what you can purchase. You don't have just that one. But I mean, 2016.
Yeah, but
hello.
Mark, did you want to go in on like how you and I both agree that this isn't just the best picture that they could have done?
We also didn't finish the clip of
Sorry.
Peterson.
Oh well, shit. Hold on, let me.
Oh yeah.
Let's play it one more time, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. They had a rather overweight young woman with a very revealing swimsuit on the cover. And I thought, no, the cover bothered me a lot because it was a cheap manipulation of something that had been working very well for Sports Illustrated. It was also an insistence that all of a sudden this non-athletic body is as beautiful as the standard swimsuit model. It's not. It's not as athletic and it's not as healthy. And that's that. And then it's a lie that's a manipulation of that young woman. They're not on her side. They're exploiting her. and she may be participating in that exploitation.
That's
but
a
they're
really
still
good-
exploiting her.
Wait,
So
keep
don't
going.
pull any moral stunts on me because you're irritated about my opinion when it's bloody clear to anybody with eyes that was manipulative in 20 different ways. Not everyone's a genius. Not everyone's Picasso. Not everyone's young and healthy. Not everyone is a Sports Illustrated Swimsuit model, period. And fuck you if you don't like it.
All right, when he curses, that's kind of fire because you don't hear that guy curse. That's dope.
I at the end there, so he makes his point and he's like claims that this isn't beautiful, period, right? I don't like that because like, why are you the judge of beauty? Why can't the rest of us weigh in on this too? The manipulation part, that part's really interesting. And when he gets fired up and he says "fuck you" and stuff like that, I actually like that too because that's his opinion. You know, now he's talking about like, okay, that's your opinion. You're totally entitled to that.
Yeah.
You think this girl doesn't look great? She's unathletic, unhealthy. Fine, but don't make that a statement. It's a conversation to have. Like, you know, is there a reason for bigger people to be represented? If you watch TV nowadays, you watch any sitcom and you see any commercials have way heavier people on there. Commercials have a wide diversity of people on there as well. To the point where sometimes you don't see nearly as many white people as you've seen in years past. Like,
No, let's not do this again, Mark. Let's not go down this rabbit hole again, Mark.
I know, but they'll probably be like, to some extent, they'll probably be like, oh fuck, like let's make sure we have a white guy in there every once in a while, right? Because they go so far the other way, which I think is.
or like nowadays, you know how back in the day, like the criminal or the robber would be like the black guy, but now you see the white guy that's a thief. Kind of a joke.
Thought of it as like it's like a affirmative reaction. They're like, oh fuck, like we gotta do it.
Affirmative reaction.
Dude, we had a.
That was good.
Oh my god, I love
That is a
making
good
Nsima
one.
laugh.
Affirmative reaction. Holy shit.
Years ago at Super Training, we had a black dude come in and train with us. We have rules around here. We only have a couple at a time. We got in and out with Bill and Nsima. They got to like tag each other in and out. I'm just fucking around.
I remember it was Bill and Nsima, and then Terrell used to work here where it's like, guys.
Yeah.
I look at Terrell, look at Bill, be like, what's going on here? There's three of us. It's like the Spider-Man meme.
Oh my god.
Fuck.
This black dude comes in, gets a great workout in. I was fired up because he did really well, and this guy deadlifted like 585 and stuff, and I was like, oh man, this is cool. And the guy was local.
Yeah.
And this is when we're at the old gym. We're at Midtown. And I'm like, oh man, this would be cool if this guy was around. It's always amazing when we have people come in that are already strong, that already can move some weight. So he takes off and he leaves. And one of our other guys is about ready to leave, and he's like, he goes, my wallet was right there. He's like, I know for sure that my fucking wallet was right there. And I know that the black dude just left a few minutes ago. And I'm thinking like, I'm the only one that like has his number, you know? So I'm like, no. I'm like, what are the odds? You know, he comes in this one time, you know? And I call him, right? He answers his phone. He goes, I know. I'm the only black guy there. And I do have I do have somebody else's wallet. He's like, I'm already turned around. He's like, I'm already heading back to the gym. And he comes back and he shows me, like, he puts the wallet down. He goes, and his wallet was exactly the same.
What are the odds?
100% exactly the same looking wallet. And it was just hilarious. He's
The
like,
awkward ass. He's like, dog, fuck, dude. No.
I was like, this guy's never coming back. Fuck.
Oh, man.
Oh gosh.
Anyway, hopefully I didn't get us canceled.
Nah, this is just funny. It's fucking funny, dude. What were you about to say?
Well, Mark was talking about how it was a little bit manipulative.
Oh yeah. From Sports Illustrated, sure. Like, but we mentioned this on the show before. Like, do other people need representation? Like, are people heavier now? Is there different body types and stuff going on right now?
Gotta be careful with that word all of a sudden.
And if you look at, again, if you look at a lot of the commercials that we're seeing, like I was watching something the other day and I was just thinking, like, does the guy in this commercial need to be this fat? Like, but who are these people that are taking these medications? They're very heavy people, right? And so it makes sense to have the commercial with somebody that's more representative of the clientele of the person that is taking the prescription drug, right?
Yeah, and even in like cartoons and stuff now, like not like Wall-E, but I can't remember which show it was, but like the parents were like, they were really fluffy, like they were overweight when the kids weren't, but like the parents were. And I just remember, like I noticed it, I'm just like, that's weird. I don't remember, you know, the parents like being this big, you know, like they were always like big as in tall and stuff, but now it does seem like they are trying to be like, I guess, make it seem like it's like, oh, look, they're just like your parents or something, you know, something to relate to, which is fucked.
Andrew, could you go to YouTube? Because, all right, while we're on this fun topic of just companies taking advantage of you know, because you know it's Pride Month, so all these companies going to be making commercials like that, and when it was
including
Black
the PowerProject, who had a gay couple on the show for Pride Month.
But dude, Andrew, type in Lizzo in real tone on YouTube. It has 1.6 million views. This, honestly, I'm like, if people fall for this shit,
is this it right here?
Yes, play that video, dog. This is the funniest. I saw this ad, and I'm like, nah. This is like The Onion or some shit. Just historically camera to
complexions have always struggled with having good lighting.
Every single yearbook photo of mine has been terribly shot since I
Give
was
me
a
a
kid.
fucking break,
I
guys.
show up as too dark or shiny.
Can you pause, Andrew? You weren't standing in the right spot. Like,
dude.
if I like, it's just the way you took the photo. Turn around and get some sun.
Yes.
Boom. But Google, what the fuck?
So what are...
Keep playing, bro. Keep
Are
playing.
they trying to blame like the way the iPhone works, that it's discriminatory?
They're trying to say like the flash is you know these cameras have
Works
been
for
able to
certain
take
tones.
only works for certain tones, but you know darker tone people, well they need the pixel play.
All of me.
Is this real?
That's real.
Insane. What is this shit? Oh my god.
And they have all these colors behind her just to show.
But I don't know if this is an inappropriate time to bring this up, but I did sit on a black guy in a movie theater one time. He went,
Wait, was he like wearing all black too? Or
and he was very dark. I saw him after the show. He's like, it happened before. He said, he goes, I'm Jamaican.
Oh, fuck. They were just,
I was
these
like,
things
oh
just
my
happen,
God.
bro. There ain't no way about it. These things just happen. All dark movie theater, a darker complexioned man. I mean, it's an accident that can happen, right? So,
But really quick, the phone has nothing to do with this image. There's a beauty dish on top of her, creating an amazingly perfect lighting. This is.
so I'm happy you're a photographer.
This is
Like you know the
amazing.
tech of this shit. Hey, let's keep playing it. It's only
Oh
30 seconds
god.
left.
Okay.
This is real.
And
Yeah,
they have
Into
the
the
soul.
Sun.
They have the soulful music behind. Dog.
All now
These
this
just
is all
normal
bright.
pictures.
Yeah, this is all bright now. All out in the sun.
Oh yeah, take pictures in the sun.
Fuck off.
So companies be doing this shit. You know what I mean? It's like it's a
For
when
sure.
Jordan Peterson said a cheap manipulation, I understood that in other contexts, but in the context of a Sports Illustrated cover, it's just we have 4 fucking covers, bro. We have an old white woman, Kim K, Ciara, and a slightly overweight model. She's not fat. I mean, I'm sorry, it sounded messed
Yeah.
up. She's not obese or anything. She's just more overweight, but she still looks pretty good. So it's not a manipulation of anything. It's just showing these are different bodies that can look good in swimsuits. Even Lululemon. I was in their store and I'm seeing on the backdrop of, you know, they had people that were a bit overweight running because guess what? Overweight people fucking run
They didn't used to have above a size 10 there, and I think they have like 12 or 14 nowadays.
because guess what?
Yeah.
There are people of different sizes that are exercising, trying to get into the best shape that they can be, and they need fucking clothing.
That's the other side of it too. It's like, how do we know this girl that is on the cover the one that's a little heavier, how do we know that like she didn't maybe struggle with her weight her whole life? And maybe she dropped some weight in the last 5-6 years and got in better shape and is now a model because of it. I mean, it's not like she wasn't a model previously either.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, is like she's an actual model. How much weight, how overweight is she? It's like, I don't even know. That's not for me to determine or really any of us. But like, if we're just trying to be like really honest in terms of, getting off like excess weight, it's like, I don't know, maybe there's 20 there to lose, maybe 20 or 30, but like, that doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Like in this day and age with all the modern conveniences that we have, people are massively overweight. Do we need to have a little bit heavier people probably represented? And would it be nice for people to talk about it more and for people to imagine if this girl has a message that entices other women, that helps other women feel empowered, not to stay the same, but to make improvements, to make progress. Because nothing is necessarily about perfection. That's what we used to be sold. And I think people are smart enough to realize it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Where are you now? And can you get a little bit better? And maybe this inspires some people to say, hey, look, there's a lot of women that would die to have that figure is my point.
Yes.
Right?
PowerProject family, how's it going? I want to tell you guys about the legendary Tasty Pastry. And we've talked about Ben & Jerry's and snacks and stuff on the podcast, but those can go against your goals. They can be too calorically dense and they can really make you crave more bad foods. But the crazy thing about the legendary Tasty Pastry is that it's 20 grams of protein and 5 grams of net carbs and 180 calories, and they taste amazing. You guys need to check them out. They have tons of flavors. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yeah, and the other thing, they passed the kid test. Kids love these things as well. Head over to eatlegendary.com and at checkout, enter promo code PowerProject to save 20% off all the tasty pastries, all the nut butters, all the almonds, everything. Again, eatlegendary.com. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes. Let's get back to the podcast.
Yeah. And another aspect of it is, we're in fitness, right? We talk about, trying to gain muscle, trying to lose body fat. But one thing to understand is even though we do look the way we do, right? If you're a guy who's 16, 20% body fat or whatever, and you're healthy, but you have a healthy lifestyle, you're working out, everything's good, and you feel good, that's fine. You don't have to have 10% body fat, a fucking six-pack, veins going everywhere. You don't need that.
What does your wife or girlfriend like? Ask them.
The main thing we're talking about is trying to be healthy. You can be healthy and look like her. Truthfully, it's like there's this idea.
100%.
Yeah.
It's not like she's going to die earlier because she doesn't have that much extra weight on her.
She's not
obese.
obese.
It's detrimental.
Right? Exactly. So it's a very, I guess, again, from JB, Jordan Peterson, it's a very interesting, not beautiful, trying to manipulate us. Like, I get what he's saying. I do get what he's saying because there are companies do that shit. Right now, companies are doing a lot of things to try to appease to a certain type.
Fucking doing the best they can. They get put in weird situations. Starbucks years ago, they asked a black person to leave their facility, and then it started a whole thing. And then, if you guys remember, Starbucks was shut down for a day around the whole country, and they had to have meetings about, which is it's an interesting thing, but they got to coach their people on how to not be racist or something like that. I mean, it's just weird. But again, I think companies are trying to do the best they can when it comes to Sports Illustrated. They're trying to get people to talk about it. And they did a good job because we're sitting here talking about it. And so is everybody else.
Yeah. One thing I did want to break down, though, was just that the fact that I guarantee you.
Breakdown.
Yeah. I've been a photographer for many, many years. I'll go full screen on this. And then actually, let me break down the other images first. So of Ciara, who is, naturally, it's going to be hard to take a bad picture of her. Yeah. But what are they doing? So real quick, there's a shift in her foot placement. So it's going to put more weight on her front foot, which is closest to the camera.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And that's going to put a bigger curve in her butt.
Yes, it did.
But then also they have her turned completely sideways. So her butt's going to look twice the size of her whole body because she's like I said, she's already thin, but they put her sideways. So it makes her look even better. Not a fan of the hand there, but of course the chin turn and everything, that all looks freaking incredible. Kim Kardashian's going to be really hard to take a bad picture of her. But again, we'll look at the foot placement, like heavy offset here. So that's going to create an amazing curve right there. The back is arched really hard. So that's going to make her butt look even bigger and make her stomach look even smaller. The arms come down as like a triangle. So it's going to make her look a little more slimming. Also going to make her boobs look bigger because they're going to be pushed out. And she's a fucking dime piece. So
I think something's changed too. Like if you go back to her photo, I think there's been some kind of small changes over the years. Like, see how she kind of has like a crease there?
Yeah.
In the leg.
They would have edited that out in the past.
I think, yeah, in the past they would have gotten rid of that. But now I think that's more desirable in a way. Like, you know, showing that you got some like kind of meat back there.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that crease, by the way.
Yeah, it's attractive.
Same.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Again, the way people look at attraction in mainstream media is different. That ideal body is curvier now than it was in the 90s, 80s, 70s. So they're eating with it.
It's definitely has changed, but it's what I mentioned to you guys in an audio message back and forth was like, it's kind of interesting that we still haven't landed on like someone being like muscular. Like we still don't see that. Obviously from the men's side, we see that.
Yes.
But we still don't see that from the women.
Yeah.
Like, dude, imagine the fucking controversy that would hit. It would be a crazy shitstorm of stuff that would happen if you put like Brooke Ence on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
You know, people would be like, she looks like a man. And you'd get all these people saying all these wild, crazy things.
Yeah.
Or even like a Brooke Wells who has a softer look, but is still jacked as fuck and has abs.
Yeah.
It's just, we just haven't gotten there yet. Like people are still really, I don't know if they're like intimidated or what the deal is, or if they just literally think it's like, again, I think sometimes that men and women don't understand, like a guy might say, I don't want a muscular woman. But then
you don't until you have one.
Yeah. Or until someone's in front of you where you're like, wow, that looks incredible. Because there's different versions of it, right?
There's different versions.
Like maybe you don't want a girl that has like a giant neck and giant traps and forearms and stuff. Maybe, right? But they don't. But a lot of women that train hard don't end up really looking like that.
Most women that train hard aren't like jack. You know what I mean? Like
it takes a lifetime.
It takes a lot to look jacked. But, you know, it is funny. You bring up Brooke Ence, Brooke Wells, a lot of these more muscular women that look amazing. But in that comment section, it's an interesting thing. It would get crazy backlash if it was mainstream. But even within their comment section, these are people that pay attention to fitness. They pay attention to CrossFit. They pay attention to powerlifting, whatever. And even a lot of the men within these audiences are like, she's on drugs, or she's too jacked, or she looks like a man. These are guys who pay attention to fitness shit. Now think about the general population who doesn't. Like they're used to seeing just like these type of covers, watching TV. They don't see very fit women. Dude, the backlash that would get would be insane. It would be what we see in our little fitness bubble times a fucking 100.
Yeah. So then let's see. Actually, I'll do it this way. Moving on to, this is Elon Musk's mom.
Is it really his mom?
It is. It is his mother, yeah.
Okay, something I want you guys to pay attention to. You see how the arm placement, we like patterns, so these are triangles, but also what these do is they make the midsection look even smaller because you have all this dead space right here. And that's going to make her look slimmer. And then also they have her leaned up against something. People think it's just there for an ornament, but I guarantee you this is meant to cover something that we didn't want to see in here. And
She's
also
probably to get a chance to shave.
Yeah. And then also even just leaning.
Come on, that was good. That was good.
Leaning up against
put the bush
something.
there, you know?
That was better.
Leaning up against something as an older white lady, she might not have a lot of junk in the trunk, so that's going to help push some of that out. Let me go to this picture before I go to the main picture. Oh. So she's gorgeous. She's a bigger, like full figure woman. I think that's what they call them. But notice, butt way back out. Again, hard arch, the exact same pose as Kim Kardashian. Like there's kind of almost like a script. Once you nail one pose down, you can kind of get it down for just about anybody. Yeah. Notice the arms cover the slightly bigger belly than what we were used to in a swimsuit model. But yeah, so amazing job there.
And that was 2016.
2016, so not that long ago.
Yeah.
And then let's go to, what's her name? I already forgot.
Yumi Nu.
Yumi Nu. Okay. Now, I guarantee you they took thousands of pictures of her that looked way better than this. She's so pretty that like it'd be very hard to take a bad picture. They didn't take they didn't select the best picture for this cover, and I think they did that shit on purpose to emphasize some of the things that they were going for.
I also want to say, when you and Mark were mentioning this pre-podcast, I was like, dog, wait, what are you guys talking about? I didn't get it, but as you explain, I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah,
you're right.
so we'll start again from the feet, because that's usually where a pose will start. Her legs aren't that quite shifted. They're not that, like the right foot's a little bit forward, but not that far forward. So that doesn't create much of a like roundness over here on this side to try to emphasize a woman's figure. Hand placement. So remember on the last one where the arms were way out?
Yeah.
So this now makes her hips go from right here all the way to over here past her elbow. Okay, so like that just mushes all into one thing. The bathing suit, this swoop here is gonna just make it seem like her boobs go from here all the way down to here. Same with that side. That's not a good selection there. Her chin, I would have liked it to be a little bit taller and higher, so that way it just makes her jawline look even more sharp. Also, like the camera could have been even higher. You see, like when chicks do selfies, they go up from up top because it hides a lot of stuff. So again, I think that they chose an image that was that just highlighted some of the things. Oh, and then the other main thing too is this bathing suit right here. Like this is such an easy Photoshop job if they wanted to.
And they do Photoshop, like let's not like they used to Photoshop a lot of stuff. They still do Photoshop shit, and they chose not to, which I mean I think is good in a way.
No, I think so too. But like they could have picked a different bathing suit that doesn't have this gigantic front panel and that hugs her hips right here. That also emphasizes this little extra. I'll say it's a little roll right there.
It's fine.
But again, like there's a lot of stuff here. Like same with all this here. Although I'm a fan of it, they could have easily photoshopped some of that out. And again, like just the hand placement's freaking terrible.
Kind of looks like
image.
it's in between like poses and stuff too.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It looked, So I just, like I said, there's a lot that they could have done to better this image. Like even just her foot placement would have helped a ton. But I think they were going for an image that's going to emphasize like, hey, she's a full figure model. Look at us.
So let me ask you this then, because I now understand. Like when you look at the way a pose is done, especially you, since you've photographed hundreds, if not thousands of people.
Yeah.
So you know how to pose people.
You would probably never put anybody in that bathing suit.
No, I wouldn't. No.
So my question to you guys is, all of these flaws that we typically would call flaws. Do you believe it's overall a good thing that that people are seeing this and being like, because this is the thing, man. Essentially, I was talking to my girlfriend. I was talking to my girlfriend, and she has this friend who was like, "Oh, I've never worn a swimsuit before. I'm a little bit.
It's a big thing for women,
it's a big thing for women." And when Sam was showing me like what this girl looked like, I'm like, holy shit, she's worried about wearing a swimsuit, because like she was quite skinny, and like even when she showed like how she looked, her front, like she had this line, like there's a level of insecurity that people have when they have to wear more revealing clothing. Every woman's gonna have, right? So I think that there's an aspect of this showing like, okay, there are certain flaws when you wear swimsuits, because most of the swimsuit covers up until this point, God, these girls all look like 10s. Yeah. And if you don't look like that, you're then like, well, I don't look like that, I might as well not wear a swimsuit. But
and what if you're like a little bigger and you don't have boobs too? It's like, well, now you're not filling out the top very well, right?
Yeah, and there's so much of that. But even though this cover of Yumi, well, this cover is fucking amazing, but the cover of Yumi, it shows certain flaws. She still is pretty. Some people might not be super attracted to someone that is her size, but she's still very attractive. Do you guys think it's overall a good thing to show those flaws, or do you think Sports Illustrated is taking advantage of this to put this in front of us, so it's nefarious and it's not good?
I'm conflicted on that. Now, after you put it that way, I think it is good that they are showing somebody that's, we'll just say, not perfect like some of the other.
She does look like a model, though.
I know, right? So it was hard for me to even say that because she's freaking gorgeous, but
she's an entertainer. She's a model, a singer. She's been she's 25 years old. She's been in the business for like a long time. So it's not like she's, you know what I mean? Like it's not like they took a random person.
Yeah.
You know?
But again, just like even like the small minor details, like you see her bathing suit bottom, like it has multiple straps to avoid that like that extra like hug on the hips there.
Yeah.
So like just small little things like that could have easily been altered and still maybe shown some of the flaws, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to that's a good one, dude. I am conflicted because on one end I'm like, well, no, I think they emphasized some of the imperfections, I'll say. I keep saying that word even though she's perfect, but
I think we need more representation. I think
like you saying that word.
I think there needs to be like more there needs to be more images. There needs to be like, because women, like my wife, she won't wear a bikini, like very, very rarely. I mean, maybe around me outside, but that's about it. And she looks amazing. But a lot of women, I think what they think is attractive, there's too many things stacked up. It's like, I got to have, you know, the big butt and I got to have the big boobs. And if I don't have those two things to fill things out, you know, and then on top of that, like you somehow have to have those things filled out, but then you have to have a small waist on top of everything else. And so I think people need to see more images. I'm not saying, again, this girl is like 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah.
So she's a taller girl. From what I found on the internet, she's like about 185 pounds, which might sound heavy to some people, but women that are, you know, and no, it's not that heavy. Anything, you know, whenever a woman is like above like 5'8", you know, their body weight is going to be, you know, heavier than what people are used to hearing when a girl's like 140 or whatever, 130. You know, and being in the space that we're in, you know, being in fitness and being, you know, in powerlifting, like I think we see a lot of girls that are like thicker, and we see a lot of girls lifting some big weights. We see, it's hard though too, because some of these women are still really beautiful. Like they're still really, really pretty. Someone like Meg Squat, she gets, you know, she had a baby, and then she lost some weight from there. But Meg is like, I think she represents a lot of women out there, even maybe women that are heavier than herself, because she doesn't mind, like, you know, she'll wear particular clothes that maybe aren't like overly flattering, but she'll do it on purpose and say like, hey, this is just kind of how I look. Again, she looks exceptional. Like there's a lot of girls that kind of fit this category. Charity Witt, like she lost a lot of weight and looks more modelly now, but in her quest to drop weight, it's hard to say she was a bigger girl because she wasn't.
She wasn't a bigger. Like
no, she wasn't. She was never huge. You know, she was never really big. But I think that it's healthy. I think it's healthy for people to kind of see these images, and then hopefully they start to get into conversations of how they can improve, how they can get better. Because let's face the facts, like everybody wants to look a little bit better. Everybody wants to do a little bit better. I believe that everybody wants to be a little bit better. And they need a path. They need a way. So if somebody is like showing them, hey, this is how I look, and I had to lose 40 pounds just to get to here, I think that's really cool. Or here's what I do to kind of maintain this. Or here's what I've been working on to get better. I don't like this pooch that I got. I don't like this fupa that I have. I don't like these love handles that I have. Whatever the thing is, maybe somebody's in the process of like working on these things. And also, maybe someone doesn't fucking care, and maybe they feel pretty good about that.
You know,
as long as it's not like wildly unhealthy.
Yeah,
I think you're okay.
Guys, Sports Illustrated. I was looking through the covers for the years. I don't know what year they started having multiple cover options, but yo, Sports Illustrated gives people different covers to buy. It's like, you don't have to buy Yumi's cover. You could buy Maya's. You could buy Kim's. You could buy Ciara's. So the thing is, it's like they have different covers, and anybody can buy the cover that they like the most, right? But it kind of makes me think of the aspect where, you know, I have a friend who he's a bit shorter himself, and he just does not like taller women. He doesn't find them attractive. Like, he weighs a certain amount. I think he weighs like 160, 165.
Women are getting mad right now, but women have a thing about height too. So
women do have a thing about height. And I want to also say to the guys, because there are a few guys where I'm like, I know where their head is right now. they're probably like, well, guys have our struggles too, like height and weight. And yeah, I know that. But like our other episode before, this isn't about you. Okay, so let's skip over that.
That's the name of this one.
That's the name of this one. But, whenever, in our group chat, when I was single and when some of us were single, we were just, we were throwing some things out there, and he was like, oh, that's nasty. Oh, this. I'm like, dog, you are just too small for them. like, you're just too small for them, and that's okay. But the thing is like when the thing that is like interesting about the Jordan Peterson comment again is the not beautiful. It's like, okay, Jordan, she's not beautiful to you. That's okay. But don't try to take that point of view. And it's cool if it's your belief, and morph it into saying just purely this individual is not a beautiful person. It's really, I guess, I think somewhat off character for Jordan Peterson, because he's the guy that's all about free speech. He's the guy that's all about having really good just conversations about difficult topics that are quite uncomfortable. And I respect that aspect of him. But it's like, this for him was the hard no. And it's like, this isn't the hill to die on.
It's a stretch, right?
I think it's a bit of a stretch. And that's just my opinion, which we're all able to have. So I'm actually very curious about the opinions of people in our audience. Like, what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is that big of a deal? Do you think it's that big of a stretch to have this woman on the cover, one of 4 covers? Or is it okay? I think it's fine.
And we talked a little bit about from the male side, how we don't really see, that much from men, where, you got Bert Kreischer on the cover of something like that, right?
I mentioned that to you because I saw somebody saying that having her on the cover of Sports Illustrated, if they can have her, then they can have Bert Kreischer on the cover of Sexiest Man Alive.
Right.
And it's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, you're probably not going to really see that, but like, again, like, does somebody like Bert Kreischer, insert anybody, that's a little heavier, do they have like 9,000 other characteristics that could be viewed as being very attractive to somebody? Probably. Like, does Bert Kreischer ever have problems like, I think he's married, but like, did he ever have problems like attracting people to him? Like, he's the life of the party, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so there's so many other attributes, and especially for men. And we had Rolo on the show, and like there's a lot more that kind of goes into into all that. So it's interesting, but a lot of times when guys have a like belly, or we've seen athletes in the past, Charles Barkley comes to mind. Charles Barkley, when he played, he was not fat. Shaq, when he played, he wasn't fat. But like they had, Shaq was kind of out of shape occasionally. Jerome Bettis comes to mind, the bus. Like, we love those athletes. We're like, these fucking guys are, it somehow made them more relatable. That they had a little bit, because like all the dudes that are, not all a lot of the guys are going to the games, they got a beer belly, and they're thinking like the bus is like me, and they don't really realize like Jerome Bettis is like one of the greatest athletes of all time. Yeah, they don't really understand what a savage some of these people are, or like George Foreman. With the Foreman griller and eating all the burgers, and George Foreman, he came back. George Foreman came back and won the fucking heavyweight championship after years of being in like hibernation. After he lost to Muhammad Ali, he never didn't fight again for like 20 years, and then he came back and decided he was going to do it. And he was kind of older, and he was fat. He was big and fat. And he would just stand in the corner. He wouldn't sit down. And the reason why he wouldn't sit down between rounds, he's like, I ain't getting back up. He's like, I'm old. He's like, if I sit down, he's like, I ain't getting back up. But he had a lot of support and a lot of people behind him. And he did a lot of, like, I guess you'd say like marketing and stuff via talking about the Foreman griller and talking about how he eats and talking about how he liked being big, because it helped him to be strong. And so men kind of have like almost a whole different angle, I guess, to go about doing things. But we have a lot of crazy expectations to live up to too. When you think about the superhero movies and how jacked some of these guys are in some of their movie roles and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, I do understand that. But quickly thinking, when you were mentioning the representation thing, I feel like we should change that word because it gets some people very triggered when we say representation.
I don't know what other word to use.
I don't know. We'll think about that later. But it reminds me of the video that we made before about the fat acceptance thing, when the woman was talking about how overweight people have typically been shown in media up until like more recently. They were typically the comic relief, the fat, the person who plays the fat role, like the
Chris
Seth
Farley,
Rogen, right? They're always the funny guy or the humorous person, right? And it is, for some people who are slightly overweight or holding a little bit more body fat, because, if you're holding a little bit more body fat, that's not, again, you're not running a crazy amount of health risks if you're not fucking shredded. You don't have to be shredded. But to be able to, see an individual that's holding a little bit more body fat as a model because she is a beautiful woman, showing these types of people in different ways, it doesn't mean that we're trying to say that being extremely overweight is okay, because again, she's not extremely overweight. What we're trying to do is help people with their health. People that come from every single different level of size, whether you're extremely small and you have problems because you're very skinny and underweight, or if you're overweight. We're all just trying to get into better shape and live a healthy, fulfilled, fruitful lifestyle. And in media, it'd be more beneficial, and it is beneficial, that we're starting to see different people of different sizes shown in more positive lights and in a more positive light. Now, the superhero thing is a pretty complicated one, because when you look at comics, like fucking Goku, when you look at all these characters, John Cena, they're jacked and shredded. So I wonder, I think that's Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, but he still had a six-pack when he was Ant-Man. I don't know. That's an interesting one, though.
Yeah, those guys are, they're almost always in shape for those movies, or they're in like some sort of suit that makes them look jacked.
There was M'Baku from Black Panther. He was like, M'Baku was
Was he the first one that challenged him?
Yeah,
Okay.
challenged it. But he had a little bit of a belly. He was just like a big burly guy, and he ends up being a good guy later.
Yeah.
right. So there's a few, but I know what you mean by the superhero thing. It gives guys a lot of issues, especially when they're trying to reach a type of physique that is just wild.
Yeah, or just the fitness people that we see, they're just in such good shape. I think people are, trying to be like some of these other people that are out there. And unfortunately, you can do and try everything that you want, and you're not going to be somebody else, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
You won't be somebody else, but there's something I think about, like when you think of really, really in shape fitness girls versus the models that you typically would see on old Sports Illustrated covers. A lot of those girls are really skinny, and I'm not saying it doesn't take work to be skinny, but it's not. It's like your genetic gifts allows you to be this thin. Women who are really fit, they've built some muscle, they have shape to them, their arms, their shoulders, their legs, everything. You can tell, like, God, this person put in work. You, myself, you, Andrew, like, we've trained to look this way. We've put in work to look this way. So when a lot of guys are like, I want to be jacked, it's like, you got to understand that does take work. There isn't necessarily a physical male equivalent that doesn't take work, right? Whereas the female equivalent of being really beautiful in the past was just starving yourself to get as skinny as you possibly could. So it's going to be interesting to see over time, will more fit, like in shape women get more spotlight in mainstream? Because I think that would actually be a very healthy thing. Because right now we're seeing bigger women getting a spotlight, but we haven't seen really in shape, like really jacked women that have some muscle, not jacked, but jacked women, getting that type of spotlight, which I think, because jacked guys get that spotlight, but the women don't.
Was it Wonder Woman? Right?
Gal Gadot, like she
was in pretty good shape, and then all the women that were on that island, like Brooke Ents was one of them. And there was a few others. What an amazing thing to wake up to. Like the guy's getting pulled out of the ocean, and he's like just coming around, and he's like, where the fuck am I?
Yeah, that'd be sick.
But yeah, all those women are pretty jacked. I think it would be great. I mean, I think the woman that played the lead role in Terminator 2, That's kind of the closest that we've gotten to having
She
somebody.
like the bald one?
No. What's her name? I'll find it.
Forget. I mean, and she wasn't like yoked, but she looked incredible, especially during this one scene where she's like doing pull-ups. She's in like in an insane asylum or something like that. She's doing pull-ups and she looks
Linda
yoked.
Hamilton.
Linda Hamilton. Yeah, she looked incredible. But again, like that's not even still like, it's not even like fitness jacked like some of the girls that you see.
Hey, just wait till we get that She-Hulk, because She-Hulk is coming out for Marvel pretty soon. Now, when she's not She-Hulk, she's, she looks like just some chill.
Who's
small
playing
woman.
that role? Do you know?
Who's playing She-Hulk,
I'll look
Andrew?
it up. But like, so here is Linda Hamilton. So I mean, still right, but she was pretty jacked in the movie
For the time, and yeah,
Yeah,
like,
but she has some delts. Look at her arms.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like you could tell
pretty
she
lean though.
but it's crazy. Like that's probably about as far as we pushed it in terms of, I guess, on the Star Wars style movie.
Ray. Well, Ray isn't necessarily jacked.
What was the first? Fuck, I forget the names of everything.
Wait, Natalie Portman? Not Natalie.
No, not the movie. The
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano.
Oh yeah,
Carano.
God, why'd you gotta fuck that up, Gina?
She did it. They fucked
about,
it up.
Yeah, that's about as jacked as we've really seen.
Yeah.
There hasn't really been.
Yeah, I mean Ronda Rousey was on the cover of
Ronda
Sports
Rousey.
Illustrated.
She was,
Yeah,
and if there's any fucking athlete, that's the athlete. You know what I mean?
That's a great step. I mean, that's a great step in the right direction, and how cool too that they put her in like a one piece. Like, there's a lot of girls who are like, that's all I'm comfortable in.
it's actually just paint.
Oh, there you go.
Oh
Yeah.
snap!
So her whole shoot was just in body paint. So
She's naked.
Naked.
Hey,
I think for a while she was
Hey.
she was like consistently just tapping people out left and right, like in seconds flat. And then there was like that meme. They're like, I would only last 7 seconds with Ronda Rousey as well.
oh man! But
Anyway,
I think guys, chime in. I'm really curious what you guys think about all of this. Think about Jordan's response. Do you agree? Do you disagree? It'd be a good conversation, but let's keep it kind of chill.
Good luck.
No, I think we can. This is a more general topic. I think it's not as.
I think it can go too far the other way, where we're celebrating, and just almost complacent with how heavy people have gotten. It really is a huge problem. It is a massive problem.
It is.
And the country as a whole needs a lot of help. But what I'm seeing from a lot of younger people, Michael Niddle's kids being in there today working out, one of them mentioned that he used to have like an extra like 40 pounds on him.
Wow.
I'm starting to hear that more and more from young kids. So how cool is it? Like, first of all, it kind of sucks that some of those kids had to go through that. But how cool is that to have that recognition of like, oh man, like I'm kind of going the wrong way.
Yeah.
And for a young kid, and for any parents out there, pay very close attention to when your kid, first of all, pay attention to your kid when they're born. That'll be helpful. But as they get to be above approximately the age of 10, they most likely will stop moving around as much. They just aren't going to jump around as much. Like if you observe young kids, kids that are 5, 7, 8, they want to jump on the curb and they want to run with the dog and they want to throw the football up in the air to themselves. Like they'll take a ball outside sometimes and just throw it up on the roof of the house and catch it when it comes down. Like they want to do all kinds of stuff. But once they get to be over the age of 10, their brain doesn't work the same anymore. They don't really want to do a lot of those things. And so, and then they get obsessed with their tablet and video games and that kind of stuff. And they still eat in a similar way, or their hunger's getting higher and higher because maybe they're starting to produce growth hormone and testosterone. Horse hormones. Your kids are being pumped with horse hormones. And they get hungry, and then they're eating more, and they're moving less, and they tend to kind of gain a lot of weight. But I've seen that from my own son, where he lost some weight. We saw it with our boy Owen, and
Owen is getting in good shape, man. When Owen came in to versus what he is now, like that guy's transformed. You know what I mean? And it's just like doing a bit more in terms of his fitness.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just some kind of simple lifestyle changes. But, being heavy, it is a huge problem in this country, and I hope it's something that we continue to work on. And I think our only real way out of it is to communicate with kids, communicate with the youngest people that we can communicate with it as possible, the better. And the younger that they are, the more blunt we can be. Like, I don't have any problem in talking to a young kid about this is going to make you fat, because I don't think they have the same perception. I know some people might think that's wrong, but that's the way I've talked to my kids about it when they were young. My daughter's now 14, so I wouldn't use those words. I would say, hey, like, there's better choices that people can make. Here's a way to, here's a way to make sure you're not accumulating body fat, getting unhealthy, and so forth. I would choose different words, but I think when you're talking to them and they're young, you can help steer them in the right direction a little easier.
An aspect that I haven't I haven't been able to think this out too much, but it came to mind as we've been talking on the podcast is, not beautiful, right? And I understand the idea of not glorifying being overweight, like really overweight, as in overweight to an unhealthy extent.
You can't even tell what somebody looks like when they're excessively overweight.
Yeah,
you literally
exactly.
can't. Like, look at those old pictures of me. You can't tell. Like, you have no idea if I have good looks or bad looks. I just look fat.
Yeah. And then because, people say kids are seeing these images, and kids are being brought up thinking that it's okay to be unhealthy. It's okay to be this. And I can understand that, because we don't want to make it seem like, I don't think it's generally, I wouldn't want to teach my kid that it's okay to be obese. Like, I want my kid having healthy habits, and the shape they end up with, having healthy habits. If they're not jacked and shredded, that's fine. But are you healthy? Are you living a healthy lifestyle? Okay, because there's a variance of way an individual can look if they're living a healthy lifestyle. The thing I think about, though, is because some people look at that cover and then they put the correlation of, oh, now we're thinking it's okay to be obese or overweight, but this isn't that. There's the other side of where young girls have been seeing these covers in the 90s and 2000s and 2010s of all these models who have these extremely skinny physiques, which then as they get older, and even if they look okay as women, they now have this body dysmorphia because they're like, I don't look like this model. And it's, when Jordan said Sports Illustrated was using a model that was working for all these years, and now they do this, it's like that model that was working was causing its own issues within the minds of young people. That model was fucking up a lot of ways that women look at their bodies because of the wild looking bodies, the really skinny bodies you see on these covers. So this, I haven't figured it out, but you need range.
You got to have some compassion for people that just get caught up with food, like it. If you've never had that problem, then thank God, because like it's a big deal. I'm really grateful and thankful that my kids at the moment, neither one of them seems that tied up with food. But if you have a child that's tied up with food, it's like you gotta figure out ways of counteracting that in some way. And it's like I said, it's a real problem because it wastes a lot of time, it wastes a lot of money. It wastes a lot of resources. I mean, you need medical intervention, need pharmaceuticals. Like, it's just a thing that could be avoided if you simply just don't overeat.
Yeah.
And I think that Jordan Peterson is somebody that probably hasn't had huge issues with overeating. Now, I know that he lost weight and he did like a carnivore diet and stuff like that.
Carnivore diet making him angry.
Might be making.
I'm joking.
It might be making him mad. Not having any carbs.
Hey, but that man eats his meat. So does his daughter. So like.
Yep. No, I think it's our only way out is to, leverage stuff with protein and to just learn a lot of different strategies and techniques around trying to make it through every single day without overeating.
To your point, Nsima, I'm wondering if, going from the stick figure model to somebody with more curves and looking incredible, if like anorexia and bulimia is like, has it gone down? Like, I have no idea. Like,
I think
I would imagine that it hasn't, but like, maybe, more.
I think it's higher in men now,
I can see
I
that.
think eating disorders are getting higher amongst men because of the images that we see, I think. Because dudes are fucking lean. You know, so many images of dudes that are fucking lean. And you mentioned, you were like, I tried 1,000 calorie a day diet. I was telling you about my son dropping like a pretty good amount of weight fairly quick. And I was like, so I think there's a lot of kids that are kind of falling into some of those categories, a lot of boys rather.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I was telling Mark about this. When I was 16 and I had to stop playing soccer, I ended up being 220 pounds when I came back to soccer, came back to doing all that cardio. And I was like, well, I was big, I had muscle, but I was 220 pounds and I was holding more body fat than I'd like. And I didn't know the scientific aspects of dieting, but I saw this thing about calorie tracking and 1,000 calorie a day diet. So I tried that for a few weeks. I got dizzy as fuck. I got dizzy as fuck because I wasn't eating enough.
You're like,
right?
that don't work.
But, you know, like, yeah, I wonder about that. I wonder what are the rates of eating disorders within men. And Andrew, my knee-jerk assumption in terms of with women, you know, there are still, I think that the super skinny body isn't glorified as much now. It's like it's a slightly heavier glorification of the curvy, right? But I mean, it just sucks if there could only be an understanding that everybody's body is different and you should try to achieve the best health, not just body, but the best health that you can achieve.
And maybe have performance goals. That's a great way to do it. Because if your body can perform really well at certain things to certain extents, like there's obviously people that push it way too far with wanting to run ultras and stuff like that. But if you can lift pretty proficiently, like if a girl gets an idea of like, man, I'd love to be able to lift my own body weight in like a deadlift or a squat. Yeah. And then maybe they're like, I want to do it for like 2 or 3 reps. Like that's heading in a really, really good direction. And you need a pretty healthy body for that. Obviously you can be heavier and figure those things out, but the heavier that you are, the harder it is to lift your own body weight. And we've seen a lot of girls through CrossFit and through powerlifting, through Olympic lifting, they start to set goals in that area. They kind of forget about the being a cardio bunny and not eating, and they just go towards the performance side. Next thing you know, they look a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to shout out 2 commenters just because they answered the question. So Nick and Sherry both said that show that you were talking about, Mark, was called Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah.
So that's what it was.
That's great. That's a great show.
You guys ready to get out of here?
Andrew, take us on out of here.
Alrighty. Thank you everybody for checking out today's show. Please make sure you guys get interactive. Drop some comments down below in the comment section. Like today's video and subscribe if you guys are not subscribed already. You can follow the podcast at MB PowerProject on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. My Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter is at I am Andrew Z. And Nsima, where you at?
I'm doing deadlifts over here.
I can see out the corner of my eye Mark's head going up and down.
Hey now.
Guys, really hit up that comment section. We're really curious about this. But hit up Discord too. Great community over there. At Nsima Inyang on Instagram and YouTube. At Nsima Inyang on TikTok and Twitter. Mark.
At Mark Smelly Bell. Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. Catch you guys later. Bye. Bye.